and she's seen this twice already, and she has a question related to another film by Studio Ghibli, which Hayao Miyazaki wrote, not directed, Mimio Sumasaba. And she wants to know, all right, thanks. There are a lot of similarities she noticed, and in particular there's a place where there was a monologue you're talking about, and that's where I lost you. Okay, he'll answer it, and then it'll come out. I missed the last part of the question, I'm sorry.
耳を澄ませばと似てるっていうのは多分その普通の男の子と女の子の物語だからだと思うんですよね。
So one thing about it, the reason it resembles the other film, which in English is called Whisper of the Heart, is because the characters are ordinary people, and the setting is an ordinary Japanese setting, so probably that's one reason why it resembles it.
ただ多分その普通の女の子を描こうと思って始めた作品ですけど、宮崎駿は途中で我慢できなくなって非常にファンタジックなシーンを入れてしまいました。それがこの作品との違いだと。
So when Hayao Miyazaki was making that film, and he was depicting an ordinary Japanese girl, her life, he couldn't stand it. He just had to add a scene of fantasy. So he put in this really elaborate dream sequence, and that's probably what the big difference between the two films.
で、モノローグのシーンっていうのは、あれは実は元々のシナリオ、脚本にあったものです。そのシナリオは宮崎駿が書いたものです。で、ただ今回のシナリオでは宮崎駿はいつも自分の作品ではやらないことを随分やっています。
So the other part of the question that I missed was the one device that's used in this film that was not used in the film she's comparing it to was a monologue, kind of monologue voiceover, I guess you would say. And that's something that Hayao Miyazaki never did in his films, but was done in this particular film.
象徴的なのはカットバックっていうんですか。要するに場面が変わる。要するにこの場面、こっちで何が起こってる、こっちが何か起こってるというような手法がありますね。で、それなしの。で、宮崎駿が一番やらないこと、2人の人がこうやって向かって話してるっていう、ただ座って話してるっていうのは彼は絶対やりません。
Okay, so Hayao Miyazaki would never do a scene where two people just sit together and talk to each other. That kind of thing he never does.
でそれを実写映画ならまだしもアニメーションで表現するのは大変難しいからです。実写映画なら役者さんの佇まいで表現できますけど、アニメーションでそれを表現できない。
So it's something that you can do in a live action film, but if you're doing it in an animated film, you really can't do that. It doesn't work because it's close up, and that doesn't work in an animated film.
だから僕は最初シナリオを読んだ時にその2人で差し向かいで話すシーンがあまりにも多かったのでこれは嫌がらせではないかと思いました。
So when he first read the screenplay, that was one of his big concerns. He thought this is going to be impossible. There's just too many scenes where they're just standing there face to face and talking to each other.
The question is about the future of Studio Ghibli.
多分コクリコ坂これが失敗するかどうかにかかっていると。
Well, it's early to answer that question, but now, if this film fails, we're really in big trouble.
でまあ幸い日本での興行はまあまあうまくいっているので、彼は次の作品に取り掛かることができます。
But fortunately, it is doing rather well in Japan now, so we think we're okay. And Hayao Miyazaki has already started his next film.
Yes, at the back. Yes.
Do you feel like there's other animators that can complement your work and feel like there's anything going on besides?
I'm sorry, the last part I couldn't hear. I heard other animators influence your work or not, and then what did you say?
And is there anything going on in terms of animation in other countries besides Japan? It feels worth noting.
to 多分僕が一番影響を受けているのは高畑勲と宮崎駿のアニメーションだと思います。
So his biggest influence in terms of animators is from Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata.
で世界的に見ると素晴らしい作品を作ってる人っていうのがいて尊敬する人ではロシアのイグリンをしていると。
So outside of Japan, other animators who are doing really excellent work, who he admires, are Russia's Yuri Norstein.
あと最近フランスの監督さんがいい作品を作ってます。
And there are French animator. Me too. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He did The Illusionist. Sylvain Chomet. Thanks. And Michel Oslo.
Yes.
Hi. What do you think of the overall presentation for tonight? Like in terms of the presentation of the movie?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand the question.
Yeah, I don't understand the question either.
Basically, how it was presented, like technically how the volume, the overall, the direction, and how it's produced, and how it was translated, subtitles, and everything.
Cool.
今回の映画はアニメーション映画ですけど言葉の持っている意味がとても大事言葉が非常に重要な
So as an animated films in general, but especially this film, the words that are used are really important.
その意味でその字幕では多分伝えきってないだろうというふうに字幕を思います。
So if you're reading the subtitles, it doesn't do a completely thorough job of getting everything.
だから外国で公開されることがあるのであればいい吹き替えになってくれるといいなと。
So for this film, if it's going to be released outside of Japan, which it will be, it would be better if rather than having people read subtitles, it would be much better if it were dubbed skillfully into each language where it's shown.
あと個人的な感想ではそんなに悪い映画じゃないなと思います。
And his opinion of the film, having sat here and watched it, is a pretty good movie.
Okay, we have time for one more question. So, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much for your film. I really enjoyed it, and I just wanted to say that it brought to mind to me how the generation in Japan following World War II and then the subsequent generation so many people had to deal with being somewhat displaced, that they had no relatives left, or there were so many orphans. And I wondered, that seems to be what was being dealt with in the film, of not knowing who your parents really are. And I wondered how Japanese society, how that's dealt with? Is it a sense of this is sort of a secret amongst these young people? Is it something of shame, or do people talk about the fact they may not have parents or their grandparents? They don't know who their grandparents were if they were adopted.
I think I get it.
Sorry, pardon?
多分かつてのその日本、それこそ高度経済成長期の前、戦争が終わってしばらく前の他人の子供を引き取って自分の子供として育てるっていうのは日本人として当たり前の感覚です。ですから恥でもなんでもない。
So, in that particular period, following the war, it was something that really happened a lot, and people came to think of it as I don't want to say normal, but not an extraordinary thing, and there's no particular shame attached to it at all.
多分その感覚っていうのは今の日本人が全部なくした感覚。
That particular kind of feeling is something that was then. Now, that's not the case anymore. So, it is a problem, of course. I mean, the other thing you asked was, if you don't know who your parents are, would that be a problem? And, generations have changed and times pass, but that particular aspect, I'm sure, doesn't change. It's something that is probably the same now as it was then. Not a good thing.
And that concludes our Q&A for tonight. Please join me in thanking Goro Miyazaki.
Thank you.